And we're live. Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome in. Can I get a GM in the chat for the OGs that are here today? Or at least to confirm that you can hear me. Nice. Let's go. Awesome. So today we're going to go over a new feature we launched, the new Launch Digest. I'll talk about a couple other things that are coming very soon. And then we'll talk a little bit more about, maybe a little less about ChainEdge and more about like how ChainEdge has at least programmed me to trade the current market. And then we'll just run into some Q&A and we'll just hang out. So if you guys haven't seen it, I think New Launch Digest also has its own tab, but I like having it on the home page. And all this is doing is it basically, I think it only has a 5-minute latency right now. It takes all of the new tokens, shows you the dollar buys and sells, and then the amount people have retained, their entry, the number of wallets, etc. What's really nice about this and how I always use it is, I'm busy, building ChainEdge, writing content, dealing with a baby. I don't have time to camp on the alpha stream like some people do all day long. And so this kind of just gets me up to speed on if I'm missing anything or not in pretty short order, right? Because even when a launch is brand new, it'll show up in here like this uni war. I remember seeing this earlier this morning. But we've seen this be an actually pretty good indicator, right? Because you'll notice a lot of our new Launch Pro wallets are snipers, sort of, right? Some are sniping block zero, some snipe a little later. But they'll turn around and sell it real quick, and that's why you'll see a lot of these where, they'll sell all of it relatively quickly. But looking at ones where they actually retain their tokens in a material way is always like a really interesting point. So we actually flagged this in the ChainEdge Alpha Telegram on OCI. Of course, I still love you. Where, let's see if I can pull it up. Where, it had like over 30% smart money retention despite them buying, like $40,000 of it. And it went on to like 8x from when I sent that signal, right? Because if smart money is still holding that much that they bought, they obviously have some amount of confidence in it, right? Like they know it's not a scam, they put real money in. And so I really like this new feature that we kind of just launched out of nowhere. And so, there's a couple ways you can use it, right? Like I always like to just filter by buy amount and then look for, outliers, which you can spot. Like Vegas Bot is actually one that's been catching my eye recently, which is, a lot of buy wallets, like more than like 4. Decent inflows for like 130K FTV market cap, FTV token, and almost no one has sold, right? Like 63% retention so far, 19 hours in. Pretty interesting, right? Like, and then like the other way you can use it is like, let's say you're looking for just like more real projects, right? Because most of these, like nobody was just launched off of Elon tweet. The real calcium, I'm not into the calcium lore. I don't really know what's going on there. But like this Vegas Bot, and I don't know if it's going to be legit or not, but like they have a real working product, kind of like a Bookie Bot or Bookie Bet. I always forget the name. It's like the ticker's Vegas. It's kind of funny. It's like 100K market cap. Smart money is bought, whatever that is, like 7% of the supply. Because it's trading near, last I checked, it's actually trading near their buy price. So it's like, that's pretty interesting. Like I should dive in there. So you can actually use it to guide like newer launch fundamental research without spending, hours refreshing and running filters and, maybe even wasting time on the alpha stream. So anyway, that's how I like to use it. And you can monitor the changes in 1 day held percentage over time, right? So if you look now and then you look in 6 hours for some of the newer ones, and you see, more buys coming in, or you see the retention amount actually going down, like you have a pretty good sense of what's actually going on. So I feel like it adds a layer of context that will definitely help you make money. At least it's been helping me already. But that's New Launch Digest. There's not that much to it, to be honest. But I also personally like the average buy, because I like to see, they got in kind of around where it's trading now, or they're not up too much, because then you're getting the signal that, either the token hasn't moved much from their buys and they haven't sold, so they must be pretty bullish on it, because a lot of people just trade momentum. Or if it's up, let's say like 4x like Calcium was, and they're still not selling, then obviously they have much higher target prices in their head of where it wants to go. But yeah, that's New Launch Digest. We don't need to spend too long on it, but if you guys have questions or feedback on it, anything you'd like to add, I'm happy to hear it. And I think once we get the Telegram alerts and bots up, I think you'll be able to basically, hit command New Launch Digest and get this sent right to your Telegram and trade on it, which will also be helpful, right? So if you're on the go, you're not in front of your computer all day, and let's say you don't want to get bombarded by either wallet alerts or custom filter alerts, any kind of smart alerts, and you kind of just want this and you want to go from there, I think it'll be pretty easy to just query this into your Telegram, which will be helpful in my opinion. What else? You'll see some of these where they actually sold more quantity than they bought, which either means they transfer some in, or they're in some sort of pre-sale, but it usually doesn't happen. Yeah, what is Uniwar? I saw it and I didn't see any social activity about it, but yes, I mean, the retention's obviously good. People have taken some profit, but I mean, it's probably just, I mean, if you just look at the math, right? Like if you bought 5,600 across 11 wallets and only 3 of them have sold, this buy minus sell amount could be misleading, because they're probably up actually a decent amount now. But I don't know how much it is up, because they got in at what? 0.125. Oh yeah, they're only up 2x, which isn't crazy. Not very much liquidity though. I don't even know what this is. I mean, I know there's I saw socials for a Uniwar that's been around for a while, but I didn't know if this is related to that. It's only up triple from what I saw it this morning. So yeah, that's New Launch Digest. Other things that are coming is hopefully this week there'll be a longer form research dashboard that will be right underneath it, where I and the research team will be doing more stuff like this, but on a project level, or just more deeper dive research into anything that's going on. So again, it'll be more focused on actual research, kind of taking some of the data you can find on socials or Dune or project websites or project chats, and then kind of researching it and summarizing it and putting it in here, right? So, for example, like kind of how we just did on Vegas, right? It's like, okay, this is how much smart money bought, this is their retention, the product is real, the team said in their chat, which is kind of dead, they're going to build like DEX trading tools in there. I think they're going to do some perp trading tools in there. So like, I don't know, they seem kind of legit, but like, that would be an example of like, it doesn't have to be like this massive 10-page research report to be like, oh, that could be interesting at like 100K market cap, right? So that will be cool. Other things that are coming, alerts are almost done. So the first alerts you'll be able to see will be just like wallet alerts, but much easier to digest than the way they come through now via email. So it'll just be like, let me see if I can find it. I mean, they'll look just like Celios, right? So it'll just show swapped, blah, 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 links. And then eventually you can trade or give me the token info. The other thing that's not going to happen this week, but eventually, and we've talked about it and some people have requested it, but basically cutting, if you look at like the alpha stream today, right, we only have our 2 wallet segments. We're actually going to cut them even further by average hold time to give you, and by, we're going to break down the token age categories even further. Right, so right now, if you think about, we only have these kind of broader base ones. I think for new launches, this 0 to 2 is too broad, and it needs to be like, there needs to be like a 0 to 2 hours and a 2 to 12 hours, 12 to 24, and then 1 to 2, and then the rest. And then also being able to multi-click. I think that's coming soon too. But with that, we're going to cut these wallet labels into different categories based on those average hold times and when they're trading, right? So like, you can separate bot wallets from real wallets. Yeah, I mean, we don't have that many bots in here now. There's only a couple that we've like actually considered to be bots where they like, they're trading pretty quickly, but with average hold time, it will also make it a lot more clear, right? So instead of having, we have all these like outdated labels that we don't use much anymore. We'll instead cut these across like, sniper, right? So that means they're buying in like first 2 hours and they hold for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Like they don't hold very long. Or early people that hold this long, so just giving you a lot more context, right? Because all of these new launch pros have very different ways of how they trade new launches, if that makes sense. I'm new. How do you spot a bot wallet? Well, I mean, there's a couple types of bots, right? Like in here, it'll only be if they're a bot, they're really just like, they're trading so fast that it's not human. If that makes sense. So like, if they're doing trades every like 15 seconds, that's usually not really like done by the human hand. I mean, it could be done in a bot, like, when I say bot, I'm not talking like they're using Banana or Maestro or Unibot. I'm talking like it is something that is programmatically trading, where they are buying and selling within like 30 seconds of each other multiple times. But you can spot them just by like looking at their activity. Like if you pull up like at the bank and see their activity, you can kind of quickly tell if it's a bot or not, if that makes sense. But if you're in the Chainage Discord, we can go more into it. Which bots do you like to use? I use Maestro. I don't like the other ones, but we're building our own that's left curve optimized, if that makes sense. So you don't have to lose a bunch of time doing the 14-step setup of Maestro or setting your slippage. Sometimes you see things and you just want to buy it. And that is going to be the base version of our Telegram trading bot. So you'll be able to get custom alerts saying, oh, hey, Smart Money's buying Smart Money's buying the real calcium. They bought this. Do you want to buy some? Oh, you do? Just hit buy. Boom, you have some. So we take care of getting the gas, the slippage, everything right, and focus on just getting you into the token quickly at a good price, so you don't miss a trade. Can you share Maestro settings? We have people that have gotten pretty smart on this in the Chain Edge Discord, so if you're in there, I would just use theirs. I don't have mine offhand, and I don't really want to actually pull it up. So I don't know it by heart. How can you tell whether you should ape if you see a bunch of early sniper buys and Smart Money also buys? I mean, it really depends on this is the hardest thing about even what we have here, right? Which is just because Smart Money's buying it doesn't mean it's going to go up necessarily, especially when the market's not very good. So you have to have your own kind of internal filtering process for if you think it's going to be, the token's going to be any good or not. I typically look for, it's one is how early am I? Two, if it's a meme, does the meme have Fine is a good example. It's okay, that's a pretty good meme. So I remember when it dipped down to 200K market cap and I was buying something. It's people know this meme. Maybe it'll do better. There's rumors of these devs involved, but you kind of have to get some of the context around a project. But in general, if you're early enough and you see Smart Money coming in, usually will do fine, assuming it passes all of the other checks. The deployer hasn't done 50 rugs, the liquidity is locked, it's not a honeypot or delayed honeypot. And I also the other way I always just filter for quality things like that is just filtering for transaction values. If people are aping small amounts like this, I usually do not care. I wait for anywhere from 800 to 1300 seems to be my sweet spot. So if I'm trying to find a new launch and I'm just kind of scrolling around, I'll usually just put in that transaction filter. I'll put ETH in the cell, give me the 0 to 2 day tokens, and you'll see basically all the new launches come through, right? That's new calcium. I don't know which Pepe this is because I don't know how there can be another new Pepe, but there is. Yeah, 0.5 ETH per trade, right? And you can also, if you're going to go a level deeper, if you're a little slower, you can look at what that represents as a percentage of their portfolio value. But yeah. All right. I think that answers all the questions. But yeah, it kind of goes more into my broader point, which I wanted to talk about. Because, we don't have to go through, it doesn't have to be, their portfolio size is sized. Oh, yeah. You have to be careful because, most people are a little, can I add my own wallet to track? Yeah. So you can put them into my wallets, or you could just search them and run P&L. So, if you don't like our wallets, for some reason, and you like, let's say you just want to watch like some fun wallets you have, or you want to watch Sisyphus, who used to be in here, but he was losing money, so he got kicked. You can just search any wallet and query their P&L. You can watch their swaps. You can set up alerts, which will be going to Telegram soon. So, but yeah, like the broader point, and this is more about the market. So, like, and I'm gonna write a longer blog post about this, but like, I think, as someone that comes from a fundamental right curve analysis point of view to markets in general, like crypto can be kind of overwhelming because nothing really matters, right? There's no rules. Certain tokens can do well, certain ones can not, and that's why I called this stream left curve, right? Which is, do you have plans of filtering out rugs, honeypots on a new launch digest? Yes, so that's coming after. We got to at least get the alerts out first, and then we'll start doing some of the rug and honeypot work, because we have someone that's looking into that right now. Are you working on Telegram alerts from the, yeah. Yep, 100%. So we are working on Telegram alerts. So I mean, there's a couple ways you can get alerts, right? So yeah, I'll come back to the point. But there's basically three ways you can get a smart alert, right? So one is just like a basic, like, I want to know every time this guy trades for some reason. Okay, you'll get just his swaps. It'll tell you exactly what he's buying. You know, like this alert would come through and say, swapped 1.94 ETH to Cal or Calcium or New Calcium. Don't know. The second one is, I think you can do just like a blanket one, which is like, tell me anytime X dollar value net has been swapped into a token. Tell me that, excluding ETH stables, etc. And then number two is, you know, running these filters, transaction values. ETH is the sell. So yeah, it's all heading that way. D.Fi is going to run the first crypto antivirus. Yeah, we could integrate it. Yeah, we could integrate that. We'd have to see what works best for people. Like the nice thing about where we are from a product and business point of view is we have enough users where, like we're a ship fast and then fix it kind of mentality and operating system. So if you've noticed, like we'll just ship things and it won't be perfect, and then we'll just take all of your feedback and then it's live and it works. So, you know, we appreciate that everyone has the patience for that, but the nice thing about it is we can always just ship things very quickly instead of taking, you know, 6 months of doing all of the testing on our end. I mean, and that's why like we're able to launch things like this new launch digest. Like no one really asked for it. I just came up with it one day, and I personally think it's awesome. But anyway, back to the point I was trying to make, which is, you know, I came from a right curve analysis, you know, earnings matter stock, you know, like I come from a hedge fund background. And, you know, there was a time where it worked in crypto because you could be like, oh, I think GMX earnings are going to go up, so GMX should go up. And it did, but like GMX didn't really go up that much from, even when I started writing about it, it was like 40, and I think it topped out at 90, which in crypto terms is not even that good of a return. And I think, at least me personally, like once you get in here and you see, you know, these are the best wallets by P&L other than people that are trading ETH. You know, you start to see that it's, at least in the current market, you need to be both right and left curve because it's shit coins. Like these are all shit coins. Like this, it's like the way it rolls. So like me personally, like since I've built this and used it to trade, like I've gotten so much better because I've come to just like accept that they all, no token should really has any reason to be valuable, and that's why any of them could be valuable. And it's been like a personal shift where you just trade a lot better if that's where you're operating from, right? So, that will allow you to buy, things like Shia early, even though it's, who knows if they're ever going to even build anything. It's like, oh, like there's momentum behind it. It's crypto. They've got a cult leader. Usually that's all it really takes to get a coin pumping. And so, like, I think maybe if there are some people that are hesitant to use it because, this is it, like a lot of these flows end up being shit coins. It's like, it's not like we built it to be for shit coins. It's because the smart money by realized P&L, that is where the money has been made, right? Like, I mean, we're looking right here live at all of the highest P&L making trades, right? Like Pepe, garbage. Refund, garbage. Mr. F was here, garbage. Like Bitcoin, garbage. Link, it was just like some staking Ponzi, right? Like Shia, Ladies, Fumo, Ben, Sponge, like all memes. Unibot, like an outlier. Hams, garbage. Turbo, garbage. Wojak, Mong, Coco. Coco was only another, and even that one didn't get a lot of traction, right? Like people just got in early, like meme. This is Unibot, probably V1. More memes, and then you start seeing there's some fundamental ones where the realized P&L is a little better, like Axe and Rollbit, Wagibot, but those are just like people that were early. LBR, but even still, mostly meme coins, and so it's I think that's like the coolest thing about what we built is it may not always be like this, right? Like if the market completely changes to a whole new narrative, we will cover it both short and long term, because if a bunch of P&L starts getting made in DeFi, let's say there's this whole like Arbitrum season comes back, like that's what our site was full of in, December of 22, right? It was all Arbitrum DeFi kind of stuff, right? It wasn't meme tokens. And so if you think about like our funnel of, we take whoever's making the most money, we tell you what they're doing, and then we scrub out who's making money now and who's not. It's always going to bring you the closest to where the money is being made. Now with that comes risk, because all the money right now is being made in, new tokens, garbage. But yeah, it always makes sure you are early to anything that's getting a lot of traction, whether it's a meme or not. I mean, look at some of these P&Ls just on Calcium, right? Like, if I looked back 12 months ago and said, like, would I buy Calcium? It's like, no. Like, like, what is it? Does it do DeFi things? Like, no. And then, you could look real quickly at the P&L that you could have made any of these, right? Like these gem spotters buy pretty late, right? He bought on the 25th, still made 13K. So, like I don't view it just as like a smart money tool. It's like a way of like changing the way you approach the market altogether, right? Because I mean, it's gonna make you early without having to do like bots and stuff. But I feel like it reprograms you, at least it has for me, to just like accept what is going to make you money and not trying to trade these on-chain tokens. But anyway, that's my little spiel that I wanted to talk about from a qualitative standpoint, which is, all of the money is being made in garbage and you have to accept it. But yeah, happy to answer questions, hang out, whatever. Wasn't planning on doing as long of a live today because we don't have a lot of new stuff. I'm trying to think of anything else. We talked about this on the. Some people miss this, but we'll just touch on it for 60 seconds before someone asks me a question. Um, the other thing you can always do to find new token ideas is just click around and spend 30 seconds on the portfolio summary. Um, like, I like to just click through, and usually anything interesting that pops up in here, I'll share in the daily research. So for anyone that's not paying attention to the daily research, which gets posted not only on the front page but in the Discord and the Telegram, usually these are actually pretty good. Like I spend a decent amount of time trying to make sure they're packed with as much alpha as possible. So I hope they are helpful. But if there's anything you guys do want me to add into these daily summaries, I'd be happy to change those up as well. Not a lot of questions today. Another thing we've started exploring is spotting pre-sale contracts, because if you think about the way it's structured, it's not very hard to find out, right? Like if money starts flowing to a random wallet from all of our wallets, we know something is going on, right? Because not all of our wallets are connected. Some of them certainly are. Like you'll see them move and buy the same amount from different wallets. Like I think these two actually copy trade each other. But anyway, so I think that'll be cool too. Is it powered by ChatGPT? No. See, yeah, this is my exact point. So the question is, I tried doing your paper trade system, but now this meme shitcoin feels more luck than skill. Do you agree, or you think it trains the wallet tracking muscle memory? So it's like the hardest thing to overcome is like trying to just trade garbage, because it's been shitcoin season for 6 months. No, when did Pepe start taking off? April. 5 months. I personally just try to find. I use the data to get me comfortable with buying something like really shitty. So there has to be like an internal filter for you where you're like, "Oh, okay, I can't ignore it." Like if you start running these for new tokens where like people have made 200K P&L and they have 33% win rate and they're all aping something, I'll usually just check it out and get into it potentially, like even if it's a meme coin. Like it is hard trying to distinguish which memes are better than others, but you eventually get it's almost like a gut feeling, right? Like on Fine, which was my most recent pretty good trade, right? Like when I saw Smart Money buying the dip on that one, and like thinking about how many times I've used the "this is fine" meme, it's like, oh, okay, like I get that one. Like even if the whatever dev's not involved, like let's pick some up. The other way around it is if you're early enough and you're buying 100K market cap or less, I feel like your risk reward, assuming the deployer's not a rugger, the liquidity is locked, you're seeing lots of flows, the socials look decent, you take away some amount of risk there. But like if you're trading just pure shit coins, like you have to understand your hit rate is still going to suck. But if you trade only the ones that get a lot of attention, like Calcium was like pinging all over the site, like, and Calcium has done really well. So like, I think once you get more and more familiar with the data, the flows, wallets you like to see, transaction values you like to see, you'll be able to, I think, spot the memes that have more potential than others, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's like a mixture of like using our data, using your own trading philosophy, your own process. Um, but like, it's hard. I mean, that's like the other big takeaway, right? Is it's getting harder. Overall on-chain conditions are horrendous. I mean, that's the other thing, right? Like you hear people say that, and then I see shit like I see, let me like, and then I see shit like this, like 90K on Cal, 35K on Cal, 26K Cal, 25K Cal, 23K, and it's like 600K of realized P&L for a group of like there's only like 13 traders I think that we had make money on Cal, and it's like sure you could say the conditions are bad, but like for the traders we watch, it has not been very bad, to be honest. There's always been something you can trade and make money on. Almost every week since Pepe. Um, because if you think, yeah, like there's always, like before Cal, I was actually like, when I write these daily summaries, I always highlight a trader who crushed it or a group of traders that crushed it. And usually when there's like a long enough period where nothing hits, usually another one's coming. But yeah, I think on-chain shit coining has actually been in a mini bull market since the Pepe wealth effect has taken over. So I don't know. I feel like it's fine. Now, like on-chain conditions for like DeFi stuff is like trash. There's no appetite for it. Like it's funny, like I look at like some of these seed round deals and they're like, oh, we're doing lending, like some sort of lending, and it's a 3-3 Ponzi, and they're doing all this deep-based stuff, and it's a 30 million FDV, and it's just like, ugh, like that used to be cheap, and now it's like, I wouldn't touch it. Like I'd maybe be interested in like 5 million. So I feel like on-chain conditions for, yeah, even LSD, man, like other than LBR, like LBR hasn't even done that well, right? Recently. Yeah, like this has not done well. So I don't know, like it's definitely not a market where you can be like, oh, I'm just gonna, like, you know how like really annoying Twitter accounts be like, oh, here's the bags you can just buy and just leave the space for 12 months and come back. It's like, I feel like that's just not the market we're in at all. Yeah, not at all. Um, like, because if you think about, sometimes I get out. Oh, I would just. So the question is, sometimes I get out for 12 minutes and I get rugged. I would just pump up your. I mean, if you're trading like brand new tokens, I would just pump up your. If you're finding them via the alpha stream, I would just pump your transaction values up, or start using like the honeypot or other kind of rug scanners. Like see when I run these like a 800 minimum filter, like I rarely get rugged, because it will happen every once in a while where, and you'll see them actually come through, where there was a launch in Arbitrum that happened, I forget what it was called, where like you'll see like 100K inflows and then you go to the token and it died. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. So I've gotten caught up in those, but like I really do not get rugged very often. But I also try not to, like I don't trade every day. Like if I see something interesting, I'll buy it, and then actually one of my sell indicators for new launches is like, if it's a meme and it's not picking up momentum, I'll usually just drop it, because memes are momentum, right? Like you need momentum to get more people interested. You need someone to be your exit liquidity. Now, the flip side is something like a Vegas bot, which I flagged basically everywhere last night, is when these more fundamental projects launch, smart money buys it and starts looking like this chart. It's also pretty interesting to me, right? It's like if you this is another really good point. If you think about where the market is the most competitive by far, it's here to here. It's like those first 2 to 3 hours is like that is where the fight happens in the trenches, right? Here on out is a little more of like no man's land, right? Because your traditional gem spotters, people that are doing actual research, it takes them a little bit to like come across the project, do some research, try a product, etc. And so that's another thing I've been looking for, which is like almost waiting, what is that? It's not that long, right? It's like 5 hours. But if it goes through the initial PVP pump dump, and then you start seeing, liquidity die, then the buys are coming in, liquidity coming up, it's like, okay, like there's a chance this one is it's holding people's attention. Smart money is still holding on to it. Like there could be something here. Now, this isn't like, I'm not saying Vegas is the one. I don't know. But like it's an example, right? Like even, Fine did the same thing. Right? I'm pretty sure Fine did the same thing. We'll pull it up. But keep asking questions. These are good questions so far. So yeah, this is actually traded down quite a bit. But if we go back to, I don't do technical analysis on shitcoins, sadly. We have people that do it in the Chainage Discord and are actually pretty good at it, but I do not. Yeah, you can't even see the dip in here. That's so funny. So on Fine, same thing kind of, right? It launches, it starts getting massive attention right here, and then it drew down to like here. And then same thing happens, right? It's like volume starts picking up, buys start picking up, and then it was off to the races. So it's like all of these tools and everything are like, oh, you got to be first buy, you got to be first in. But it's like that is where like it's like everybody's got all of these different things they're doing there, but nobody, like, think about how many people probably aped this at launch, right? All of the bots and everything kicked off, alerted Fine, they bought it, they either sold here or they sold when people were like calling it a scam. Versus, like this is when I was buying because our wallets were buying, and then I think I sold in here because I was like, oh, there's no way this is going to 20 million, and then it did. So, being early isn't the only thing. You have to, watch the smart flows, because I have a really good example. I need to find Unibot V. I hope this is, how can a newbie develop his trading philosophy other than trial? No, it's got to be trial and error. But just if you trade small amounts, you could come up with it. This doesn't look like the right Unibot. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, this is such a good example. Oh, is it not going to let me? Come on. All right, let's go. How can a newbie develop his trading philosophy? Yeah, so like, I'd say just trade. Like it could start out by just, only trading things where like you feel really good about it, taking it slow. But like it's really just like a reps thing, right? It's almost with anything, right? Like I don't know, it's because like the market also shifts, so it's like your trading philosophy has to shift, and that was like the kind of the rant I was trying to go on earlier, which is like I got into the space originally shitcoining back in like April and May of 2021, and then that's when I like had my best, well, my original best return ever, right? Like buying 1% of a token at like a 500K market cap, and then it does like a 30x, right? Like pretty good time. Um, you know, but then like then DeFi stuff worked, right? Then you start doing DeFi brain, but then it's like now DeFi brain doesn't really work. So then you have to just like do a mix of trading new launches, but again, you don't have to be first. Like if you spot something that has like real momentum, staying power, smart money's really holding on to it. But, you know, you can come in late and still crush it on some of these things. When will custom alerts be ready for smart wallets by over an ETH of a coin? It's getting real close. I think the dev said next 2 weeks. It's got pushed back a little bit because we had those server issues, but I think within the next 2 weeks we should be able to get something out there. So we're getting closer. But another example of how, you know, just having tooling to tell you brand new tokens doesn't necessarily work, because look at these. This is Unibot V1. This is the token that went to 200. Look at 10,000 Unibot, this person. He bought 10,000 Unibot for $200. And if we go and look, I guarantee they blew out of it. Right? So, you know, this person had all of the new launch tooling. They sniped a bunch of the supply. They're feeling good. And I guarantee they paper handed it. No. Yeah, look at that. They sold most of it at $1. Right? Crazy. So another pretty good part of my, yeah, less than $1 actually, right? If they bought 10,000, they sold most of it at $1. Right, so that person was sitting on a, what did we see? 10,000, it went to 200, yeah. That's, you know, was that $2 million bucks? $2 million bucks, one trade, 184. But they, you know, that's why, like, that's the other thing I try to do is not just be, oh, I got to be the best at new launch. It's got to be the best at new launch. It's got to trade early, got to be first in, because you're going to do things like that. Obviously, I think they still, you know, they have $1 million P&L, so I think they're not going to lose sleep at night. But, you know, maybe they do lose sleep at night. Versus if you kind of do a mixture of both, like if you just sit and camp on the, you know, some people just watch the alpha stream. I use the new launch digest a lot. Like, who knows, we'll be talking in a week and this Vegas bot will be at like 500K market cap or a couple million, you know. That's the other thing too, is like trading shit coins is a lot like, you know, it's like poker, right? Like, you take the data, you make a bet, you're wrong or you're right, and you move on. Like, you don't need to get emotional. Like, they're all just flashing internet coins that none of them have value. So, you know, all we're trying to do is get you data to put you at some sort of advantage versus somebody without the data. At least me personally, it helps me trade a lot, because some of these things I won't even come across, because like, it doesn't matter who you follow. Like, everyone posts about new launches in a different way. Like, some of them are dumping on you, some of them are just you know, they're trying to sell you some bot that caught this token. But like, if you ever like investigate those, like they just ape like every new launch, and so like the hit rate isn't as good as you think. but whatever. I'm rambling. Yeah, 100%. Seems like to do more research, only trade those you have strong conviction in. Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, you only need the buy signal from here. Like, you don't always need to use the smart money as your sell signal. I mean, if they're selling in droves, it's either you got to get out or it's going to be a bottom. Like, that's actually what was happening in Fine. But yeah, if you don't have your own conviction, then you're going to get chopped up. So like I have a little bit of conviction, like enough to ape a little bit in this Vegas bot, just because it's cheap. Smart money bought it. They're sticking with it. Their buy price is not far from the current. If you operate under the assumption that smart money, we have, unconfirmed influencers in here, so you're gonna see this shield. I know they're like firing up some marketing campaign. Like, I don't know, like that seems decent to me. Like, will it go to zero? Like, I don't know, maybe 90% chance, but like it could just, like, if the 10% chances it goes to 1,000,000, like, it's pretty good odds to me, because you could ape, you don't need to ape too much in it to have a pretty good outcome, but that's the way I approach it. But yeah, how about fraud? I don't know anything about it. I appreciate that, MD. I'm just out here trying to make you guys money, because if I make you guys money, you will stick around. So, like, fraud looks dead. I know the retention numbers look pretty decent on it. From the float, like from the smart swap activity, it looks like a rug, but it's not. Like, it has a little bit of liquidity, right? Like 30, 40K. But I don't know anything about it. Like, I don't know the meme. Oh, maybe they did rug it. No, it's just barely trading. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so if we took our one example, right? If it was me and I wanted to research fraud for, let's just check. Where's this thing at? Why can't I search? Oh, it's because it's not a new launch anymore. We probably don't have the holdings data feed up for it yet. Nope. I mean, the retention on it was pretty good last I checked. I mean, and these buys in it were also like pretty big. I don't know. Like, it looks so cooked, but maybe it just comes back because they're definitely smart money still holding it, right? I don't know. This one's tough because I don't know anything about it. But like, if you had context around like who's involved, or they're going to be doing something to get like attention back on it, like, it could run a lot, because this is definitely like, it's either going to go up, it's going to like 10x or go to zero at this point, right? But I don't know. Like, usually you don't see smart money just go silent like this unless they're, like, it's kind of surprising, right? Like, I think smart money is definitely still retaining some of their tokens, and yet they are not buyers at 120K market cap, which is pretty alarming. So I don't know. No strong feeling on that one. But I this Vegas one, I don't know. It was heavily botted. Got out before all at a loss. I see. But then why not sell? Like, the liquidity's still there. Like, you can get out even if you're taking a 90% loss. It's better than taking 100% loss. It has like 80K of liquidity still, right? Where's fraud? Yeah. No. What? I thought I had 80K. Maybe it's only 40K of liquidity. No, yeah. 76K. Yes, they pulled it. I mean, look at like this is another weird thing. Like usually this is a bad sign when there's not even like when there's no transactions for 40 minutes. Usually it's like there's no attention on this fucking thing. Yeah, that's weird. I see. Yeah, I'd stay away from it then. Hidden owner and external contract risk. Probably blacklisted wallets. Yeah, I feel that. I don't think Vegas had any of those red flags. Did you look at that one? Oh, maybe. That's fine. It's fine. I mean, it has a blacklist. That looks pretty good, to be honest. This is like a random research point, but when the team doesn't talk about the price and they have like kind of a clear builder attitude, which I kind of got the sense from the Vegas guys in their chat, I usually buy. Like when the Telegram is not full of moon boys. I mean, there's some tokens where like if it's not full of moon boys and it's a meme coin, you're usually pretty worried. But I don't know. I liked the vibes of the. Yeah, look, someone just came back and bought some more. 130K P&L, 37% win rate. This guy's actually bought quite a bit of it. The other P&L, they're probably getting kicked out this week because their P&L is only 11K. Anyway, any other questions? Or we can wrap it up there. We'll probably do another one of these in a multiple wallets with higher than allowable. Yeah. That's not great. Yes, 100% Tran. If you see a meme coin down 60 and you see a lot of smart money buying, at least at a minimum, if it's just going to be like a little swing trade, like I'd come in and just copy trade them because they're just going to, I mean, you even see this, sometimes they'll just go and pump a dead token. But yeah, especially if they're buying a dip, I usually think that's a pretty good indicator. Oh, come on, the Binance listing department owns some. Like, how could you be bearish on this? Lord, I haven't even seen Lord Kick. Yeah, thank you. I wanted someone to laugh at my Binance listing department joke. I think I saw someone on Twitter actually get excited. They're like, oh my gosh, Binance listing department? So what was the max allowable, I wonder? Yep, that's one. Oh, yeah, that's weird. I don't know. Lord Kick. I haven't seen that one at all, to be honest. Is it like a brand new one? Yeah, that's what I saw in the when I read the contract. It's like 1 million tokens max, so I don't know how all these people. I know this guy bought it, so it's not like he got sent it, but All right, I actually have to run for another call, so we'll spend 60 seconds going through anything else you guys want to do. Fluid. I don't know what fluid does. This was like a super hyped launch, right? Yeah. I'd wait. If you got in with everyone else, I'd monitor. It kind of looks like there was too much excitement up front. It's some DeFi thing, right? Like, DeFi things just do not do that well. I mean, 3 million market cap's pretty cheap. I don't know what this does, so if you give me a little bit of context. Oh, it's a bot thing? Ugh. Eh. This should work on this token. Yeah. Okay, well, Smart Money obviously likes it. This guy's pretty good too, always fumbling the bag. I don't know. I'd say looking at it quick here, it doesn't look bad. Usually, like if you're saying the smart money balance is just like chilling, there, uh, it's usually a decent sign. Now, obviously, it's really concentrated with just these two people. Um, but like if this guy's actually pretty good too. So like you could just let's say like this is your biggest holding. You're stoked. You think it's going to change the world. You could just set up alerts on these two wallets for the Fluid token and see what they do. But looking at it, I don't know. It doesn't look bad, but I don't know anything else about it. But anyway, I got to run. Thank you guys for joining. If you have questions, you can find me anywhere. I'm also on FriendTech now. I caved. But if you're a Chain Edge sub, you really don't need to join me in there because all I'm doing is posting stuff you guys see first anyway. So we'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys again for joining. We'll do it again in a week with hopefully some new features for you all.